Danny watches a lot of television and movies. John does not. Listen in as she tells him about what she's watching, and he tries to make sense of it all. Welcome to Watching My Stories with Danny and John.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Danny.
And I'm John.
I can't do that without pointing at myself.
I know.
And
I know who you are,
it's
but
so
that's okay.
And this is Watching My Stories.
Yes, hi.
Yes, hello. So, it's been kind of a very blah 2 week. Well, obviously not in the world, but for television, there has not been a lot on. And so, I do not have a lot to talk about this week. So, we're going to do a couple shows that I finished. We're going to talk about a couple other things I want to talk about. And then in the Actors Corner, we're going to discuss Hugh Jackman, which surprisingly we have not done before.
I'm still not sure about that, but I guess I trust you.
Yeah, so let's just jump into it. This will probably be a pretty short, well, who knows? We can talk.
We
can talk and talk.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh no. It's
already
ruined. It's ruined.
Already we just hit the minute mark.
Wow. A new personal record.
Okay. So, the first show I'm going to talk about is a Hulu original series called A Teacher. This was with Kate Mara and Nick Robinson, who I really like her. She's good and everything. You know, the Mara girls, you know, they're like the grandkids of the New York Giants owner and all that, you know.
There's more than one of them?
Yeah, the other girl did the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah, I
sister.
thought that was her.
No, this is Kate, this is the other sister.
Okay.
And Nick Robinson is the kid from Jurassic World. He's the older brother.
Yeah, okay.
And and that other one, Love Simon, which I love that movie. Anyway,
yeah.
I love this kid. Love him. He's so good. Anyway, so this is, I think it was 9 episodes. It was a weird number. But this is the story of Kate Mara as a teacher. He is a student and they start having an affair. Yes, we feel like we've seen that a million times.
Only in the news.
In a Lifetime Network movie or, in the news, that sort of thing. So at first it feels like it's that typical kind of Lifetime movie that we've all seen. But this took it further, which was actually really great. It started with, how it all started. Their affair, they're claiming they fall in love. She's married. And she screws up and tells a coworker, because she thought she was so happy and she was so in love. She just wanted to tell someone. And then it's the fallout. The cops come, talk to him. They kind of run away a little bit. And then he decides to go home again and she turns herself in. So then we kind of skip ahead some months. He's gone on to college. He's a mess. She gets out of jail, prison, whatever. Of course, she can't get a job. She's stuck in the same town where everyone knows her, so it's hard for her to get a job, but she has to for probation, all that sort of stuff. Family doesn't really want her around. He's a mess because he loved her. He was a kid. He turned 18 during their affair. But it shows the damage of abuse done to a kid of that age. Eventually we jump like 10 years into the future and she has remarried. She has children. She's living this seemingly pretty life. He has started like working with youth, abused youth and leading retreats in the wilderness and stuff, but he's still pretty screwed up, but he's done a lot of work. And they get together at the end. And this was what was different. Not they get together, but they get together to meet, to see each other at the end. She wants to. She reaches out to him. She heard he was in town and, and he goes and meets her. And she thinks she's going there to just kind of say, hey, sorry, and he's done enough work. It was actually a really great scene because he's like, you destroyed my life. And he goes on and just says all of this stuff. And she keeps kind of going, I was in a bad marriage. But he's like, you keep making this about you. You were an adult. I was a kid. You ruined me, all that sort of stuff. And it was a really great scene. And it was really a great choice of this. I think it was based off of a book. but to take the show and that kind of story further. Normally it's the teacher gets arrested, end of the movie or whatever, but to see what damage it really does to the kid. And people are like, oh, well, he was 18, whatever. No, he's still, again, this is that whole position of power, whether it's your boss, it's your teacher, whatever it is, the adult needs to know better. And kids just don't,
Well, and I think there's still a double standard when it comes to it. If it's a female teacher and a boy, I think just the perception out there is still, well, the boy is going to be fine.
Oh my God. Well, first off, when she came to the school, all his friends talked about how hot she was, all that stuff. When it came out that this had happened, his friends, high-fiving
100%.
him. You're a hero. You're a god, stuff. And he was like, shut up. He hated it. And it was just like, again, the double standard, which again was a great choice to make sure that was the flip. But that also seems to happen a little bit more, where we are hearing about more the female teachers that this situation happens, and again, because I think women, the emotion of it or whatever, tends to, I don't know. I don't really get it. I'm like sitting there and she's at a school dance and admiring him. And I'm like, how can you be sitting there looking at such a young kid? And even though he's very handsome and lovely and all of that, but she was miserable in her life. But again,
understand, but there's just
other ways.
Look, there's obviously male or female. There's certain members of the species that do that. Look at young boys or girls or whatever. And who knows? I mean, thankfully I can't put my mind there, but it happens both ways. But it does seem like the movies that we see or the news reports now are really majority female teacher and a boy.
I think, again, because you can imagine being 18 and looking at a teacher and thinking those things, right, of a young 20-something teacher. And on the flip side, she wants to be admired. And then there's this kid that's totally admiring her. So there's a lot of psychoses that goes into it and all of that sort of thing. But this show does a good job of, even in the beginning, you're watching it and you're just kind of like, you think she's normal. Like, she doesn't force it. She doesn't, they made it look like it was seamless for her and that she was still a decent person. Like, at first she's like, no. And like, cause he kissed her first. She's like, no, I'm going to lose my job, whatever. And she makes all these right decisions, even turning herself in after she told her friend. She walked herself into the police thing. And so you're like, okay, she has a head on her shoulders. Yeah. These people aren't insane, but you have to understand when grooming comes into it, when it's a younger kid, it is grooming no matter what. This kid doesn't understand what you're doing. He had a girlfriend that was his age, and that's a completely different situation. When you're that young, certain things happen, but when you're old enough to know and you've gotten married and you've gone through life or whatever, you just, anyway, I'm going on. And I just really like the show because, one, I love the two of them. They were really great. And I loved that it felt much more realistic, and hopefully I would think I would want kids to watch this, maybe older teenagers to watch this, to see that it can wreck you, to see that, and I'm not even saying to be with your teacher, but just, when you're 17, 18 and you have an interest in a 25, 26, 27-year-old that, again, it's a big gap at that age because you're so young.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in society right now. And I think showing it to kids or young adults or whatever, where you think it might make a difference, I think it's going to sensationalize it, make it...
Oh, it doesn't.
Make it cool.
At all. It doesn't. You can't get that out of this. You can't.
Okay, I haven't seen it, but
yeah.
I think, as a society, I think we're rapidly approaching the point where if it doesn't happen to you, you have no appreciation for it, whether you see it on a movie or TV or whatever. You have to experience it for yourself. So I understand your point. It would be great if you could use this as like a PSA and show it to kids and say, this isn't cool and watch out for this, I don't know that message will be received.
Well, I don't know.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Anyway, it's on Hulu. It's good. It's definitely worth watching. And because, not to go to a really shallow place, but because Nick Robinson is so good looking, at some point you catch yourself going, well, yeah, which
that's
again,
not helping.
I know it doesn't, but he's so charming. I really love this kid. But again, you got to sit there still and go, but no, if he were really 17 at the time, no. So anyway, that was just my little weird thing to put in there.
That's a weird thing.
Okay. It's on Hulu. Go check it out. It's called A Teacher. There's also a movie called A Teacher out there, so you want to make sure you get the series, not the movie.
And please tell me there's only one season of this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, next show I'm going to talk about is the 3rd season of Cobra Kai that came out last weekend. You've heard me talk about the 1st season, the 2nd season, now the 3rd season. It's fantastic. And the 3rd season, again, it's like you kind of sit there and go, after the 2nd season, I was like, what are they going to do? How are they going to... It's just... They've done the best job of taking a 30-year-old movie and bringing it back to life in the series form. It's so much fun. It is so good. This one, we went into the second movie. The second movie when Daniel went to Okinawa with Mr. Miyagi, and he got this girlfriend Kumiko, and all this other stuff happened, and he challenged this guy Chosen and all this stuff, and all those characters came back because Daniel actually in the series, he travels back to Okinawa and he sees them all again, and it's fantastic. It just brings back so much stuff, and I love that you don't have to have seen the movies because they show clips, as people are remembering things. But man, I grew up as a super fan. And so it's so my heart just gets so warm watching this stuff. And I also had Billy Zabka all over my walls. And I actually was a huge Ralph Macchio fan too. Like I used to pretend I was Elizabeth Shue. I had to be Elizabeth Shue and everything so that I could be his girlfriend. And in this series, Elizabeth Shue comes back, which was just wonderful. I wish she had come back from the beginning and been his wife. I wish they had lasted all that time, but she came back for just an episode in this one and kind of explains everything, and she meets up with Johnny again, and it's all lovely and wonderful and just so much fun.
Yeah, that was a pretty well kept secret, huh? It
was. We were all, because again, it was like you can't not. And then at the end of last season, like Allie said something to Johnny on Facebook or whatever, and we were like, okay, is she really going to show up? And they really kept it a good secret. So now the thing is the 4th one, or it was actually called Next Karate Kid, was Hilary Swank. And so now the thing is Hilary Swank going to come back into this because she studied with Miyagi? So now Daniel and Johnny are pairing up to head Miyagi-Do against Kreese, who has Cobra Kai. John Kreese was the villain, and he's still the villain. The only thing I didn't like about this season was they gave us a backstory on John Kreese that I don't care about because he's such a horrible, horrible human being. I don't care, and you're not going to get any sympathy from me, and you're not going to show me anything. I can't stand them.
Which one was he?
John Kreese was he led Cobra Kai back in the movie.
Is this the guy from the H&R
Sweep the Leg?
This is the guy from the new commercials out now where he's like transformed in the commercials, turned nice.
I have no idea.
Okay. I think I know who you're talking about.
Did you see the movie?
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Kreese led Cobra Kai.
I think it's that guy.
And instructed Johnny to sweep the leg.
Yeah. Okay.
Finish him.
Yeah, okay. I think it's the same guy.
That's Kreese. Yeah. So he came back last season, and now he's here, and now he's taken over Cobra Kai, and he's horrible, and he's teaching the kids horrible things. But we did get a little backstory of his from being in Vietnam and stuff, and it just still annoyed me. But love. It's so awesome. They have now said so that it's been renewed for 2 more seasons, and the creators are saying that that's about probably going to be it. They know what they want to do, and that's probably going to be all of it. So okay. I really want Hilary Swank to show up. I want her to show up and really support Miyagi-Do and kind of put her little thing on it. I hope she does. I don't see why she wouldn't. I mean, the show is huge. Now, I will say all the Johnny-come-latelys, because it only became loved when it came over to Netflix. Well, I started from day one when it was on YouTube Red. And that's okay though, because I'm just glad, because when YouTube canceled it, I'm just glad that Netflix picked it up and now it's super awesome. But I have been watching since it was first on YouTube Red. So
you have staked your claim.
Certain things you got to do, but it's such a good show.
Okay.
It's so awesome. And my cousin doesn't watch. If you're listening, Courtney, I hope you guys have started watching. But I just, I love the movie, so it just makes sense. But you don't have to have seen the movies to watch the show.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, next show is another reboot or whatever. Season 8 of Mad About You. So they did a whole reboot season now it was 2019 for Spectrum, the cable company. So you could only watch it if you had Spectrum cable, which I did not have. So I didn't get to see it. Well, now it's on Amazon Prime. So now I could watch.
And you were able to go back and see season 1 or the reboot.
The reboot season.
The one that was on Spectrum that you didn't get to see because you didn't have Spectrum.
Yeah, now it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Did I not make that clear?
No, sometimes I would think never mind, we don't have to get into it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just move on.
So, huge Mad About You fan. Huge. I have some of the seasons already on Amazon Prime. They don't sell all of the seasons. So when a season comes up and I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll get it. Love. Know all the episodes. So I was very excited when I saw this on Amazon Prime. It was fun.
Okay.
The season. It was fun. It was not the same. What made the show so great was it started out as just a married couple, right? And so it was all about exploring that and the little things about being married, the little things that annoyed someone or the little things that made you love someone. Remember Paul Reiser, his whole stand-up at the time was about that. And he had a book out, Couplehood, and then when he had kids, he put out Parenthood, and it was all based on that. And this season felt more like a typical sitcom where they were just talking about whatever versus focusing, it starts out where Mabel, their daughter, was going off to college. And the first episode felt a little bit like that because they were dealing with now she's gone, even though she was just a few blocks down the road at NYU. So it felt like, oh, okay, so now we're going to deal with a couple that has an empty nest and they have to reconnect, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And it had that throughout the season a little bit here and there, but it wasn't the focus of the show that I think I wanted. I wanted to be able to see Paul and Jamie in this stage of their life and how are they going to get through it. Because again, the finale of Mad About You, the series finale of Mad About You, I hail as one of the top sitcom finales ever, if not the top one for me. And so we flash forward, we saw that they separate at some point in the future. We saw that all of that happen. And so it was kind of like, are we going to get to that? Are we going to see them kind of be annoyed with each other? Are we going to see what actually led to that? And not so much, they, at this stage, they were very much still in love. They did, they had their issues with still parenting an 18-year-old and what she was going through. So it was about a lot of that sort of thing. Cousin Ira, he's still in there. Every original person that had any sort of role came back, which was awesome, except for Fran, who was Paul Kine's wife. She actually has left acting and she's now a therapist. So I guess she didn't want to come back and do this.
Wow, she went the other way.
But everyone else came back, and then they added a new person who is now married to Paul Kine in the show. The daughter was good. I liked her. In the series finale, it was Janine Garofalo who played the daughter grown up. I enjoyed it, but as a fan, I wanted a whole lot more. It was fine. It was fun. I liked seeing them again. I love Paul Reiser. I just do, and I will watch him all the anytime. If they do another season, I'm up for it. I haven't heard if they were or not. But it, did I feel like with Cobra Kai where I'm like, oh, thank God we revisited all these characters. I didn't feel like it was pointed enough that I felt like, oh yeah, I'm glad they did that. I would have been fine without it. So
yeah, I think it's different between a drama and a comedy, because with the comedy, the characters, how much growing did they? If they grew too much, they wouldn't be what you laughed at before, and it would be too much change. I would think that it would be a different show. Whereas if like on a drama like Cobra Kai or Karate Kid, it's the same people, and you get to see kind of the growth and where they are at this stage of their life, but they can expand so much more.
I don't care about growth. It's just, did I want to revisit it or not? Did I get the same thing out of it as, as I was before? And they didn't give me enough to think that. I don't know how else to say it, I guess.
Yeah.
But growing, again, in a sitcom, you don't expect that. So that wasn't it. There's things like,
well, but what I'm saying, and I don't want to go on about it, but what I'm saying is that's the tricky part. In a comedy, 18 years later, or whatever it is, 15 years later, there has to be some growth, but you can't have so much growth that they're different characters, because then they won't be what you remember and laughed at. It's very tricky.
I'm going to disagree with that. If Seinfeld came back today, I would not expect any of those characters to grow, and that's the funny part of it.
I guess, but it wouldn't be as funny as it once was.
If the writing is just as funny, then,
maybe.
Then, and again, like I said, they didn't stick to the point of this show. It's kind of like they changed. They
flashed forward and then ignored it. Is what I think you're saying.
No, it wasn't sticking to the real root of what the show was about in the first place.
Okay.
There's a lot of reboots. Saved by the Bell, I'm still working my way through it. Again, that's kind of absurd. So, you don't expect any of those people to change. But the Punky Brewster reboot's coming out. I'm excited for that. Fuller House, I loved. Revisiting all of those characters. They did a great job. It was fun. It was frivolous. There was no, they stuck to the silliness of that show originally. So it can be done. I just didn't feel, and again, maybe I just have too much of an attachment to the show, truly. I mean, I really do feel like I learned a lot from Paul and Jamie almost, and in this one, it just didn't feel like it gave me enough of that.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. It's tricky.
It is.
To do a reboot and recapture the magic. I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
It's very rare.
Yeah. And, yeah. So anyway, it's on Amazon Prime. It's definitely fun. You definitely get to see everyone again. But that's just for me. It just missed the point a little bit. So
yeah,
that's that.
Okay.
That's the only new stuff I have to talk about. I want to just touch on a few things because there isn't a lot on TV still. Next week, a few things come out next weekend, like WandaVision. But I wanted to state, because I don't think enough people are watching it, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist has come back for the second season.
That show, man.
If you haven't watched it, go on Netflix or Peacock, I think it's on. Go watch the first season. It's so good. Even if you don't think you like musical shows or musical whatever, first off, the music that they choose in this, it's all music you know and love. And it makes sense because it's all in her head. So it's not like you're having to... People who don't like musicals are often like, I don't understand why someone just all of a sudden starts singing. It's all in her head, so you can write it off that way. But it's such a good show. Everyone is so talented, and the first episode of the second season was just as good, on par. I'm so excited that it's back, so please check it out.
Yeah, and I will say this, that, sometimes I think a lot of people who don't like musicals or musical episodes of TV shows find the music and the musical numbers disruptive to the show.
Right.
And that is 180 degrees away from this. It's kind of integral to the show, and it's so well done. It's not disruptive at all. You will enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, again, because the music is so you know it, and it's well placed, and it furthers the story without you even recognizing that it furthers the story.
It doesn't take away or distract from anything. It furthers it, and it's just a natural part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really well done.
It's so good. And tissues. Have tissues.
Yeah, this show, man. Holy smokes. I have no testosterone left. I mean, this show kills me every week.
Yeah. Okay, the other thing I want to say is last night, didn't have anything to watch. There were no real movies. I wanted to watch Fatale, but he wouldn't. So anyway, I put on Always Be My Maybe on Netflix. And, this was a movie that we talked about when we watched this the first time, which I think was over a year ago.
Probably.
But when they're on Netflix, it sucks because especially something like this, if it were on TBS, we'd be watching it every week because it's just one of those.
Yeah.
But when it's on Netflix, you don't get to do that, and you kind of forget about those movies. And so I thought I would just bring it up again in case people never saw it the first time. Always Be My Maybe with, oh gosh, and now
Ali Wong
and his
Randall.
Yeah. See, I was going to say Pearson because that's from This Is Us. Park.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and it's just a lovely, lovely, lovely romantic comedy. It's so funny. Keanu Reeves has the best cameo in it of his life.
Yep.
And I just love it. I love it so much, and we need to pull that out more in a rotation of watching it. So anyway,
I came along after
15 minutes,
15 minutes. Just kind of naturally sat down and watched the rest of it with you. I mean, I had no interest in anything else you were going to watch, but that sucked me right in.
Yeah, it's just that good. So I just wanted to, again, if you're looking for something for a Sunday night, if you're looking for something that, this week to just get past the time, it's a great movie. Always Be My Maybe. It's on Netflix. Definitely worth checking out.
Yep.
And then a couple shows. So again, when we don't have anything real to watch, we kind of go back and forth from a few shows, and we're back in the first season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. We've doted on this show every season. I just wanted to point it out again as something, if you're looking for something, you haven't watched it, you cannot go wrong with this show. It is so good. It is so well done. It is so funny. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. That's on Amazon Prime.
And Alex Borstein is one of the best straight women out there. I mean,
she's very good.
She is. So if you're trying to create a comedic duo, I don't know that you could come up with a better one than her and Rachel Brosnahan.
Yeah, they are just magic.
They complement each other just so well.
Yeah.
I mean, hats off to
both of them.
Yeah. And to Palladino. I mean, just for either
for seeing it
or making it work, or coaching it to where it is. I mean, whatever's happened, it's a special relationship. It really is.
We have a ways for the next season. I'm not even sure if it's going to be out the end of this year. I hope so, but we just kind of, maybe it'll be one episode a week. Maybe we watch it every day during the week. It just depends on what else there is to see, but it's always a good fallback. And I wanted to point that out. Another new show that came out this week that we loved, that we hope people will watch, is Mr. Mayor.
Oh my God, yeah.
The first 2 episodes came out. So this is a Robert Carlock and Tina Fey show. See, he can't even. It stars Ted Danson, Holly Hunter, Bobby Moynihan. He can't help it with Bobby Moynihan.
Oh my God, Bobby Moynihan is
a super fan.
Oh my God, the guy has just, I don't know. I have just a comedic crush on this guy because everything he does now just cracks me up. I mean, literally, just him doing what he does. He doesn't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
One of the best scenes in the pilot episode is him in the background not saying a word.
Yeah, he's choking on a candy or something and giving himself the Heimlich.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's, I've missed Tina Fey's writing for a while. She has another show that they're in production now with Busy Phillips and a bunch of amazing people, Sarah Bareilles and Renee Goldsberry and all this stuff. Anyway, I can't wait for that show. But this one, brought back that funny, that comedy, that quick. You have to pay attention to make sure you're going to get all the jokes.
Yep. And not everybody can do it.
No.
Do a Tina Fey show. And thankfully Ted Danson and Bobby Moynihan can.
Oh, and Holly Hunter.
And true. Yeah.
Again, in the first episode, I was kind of like, oh, she's too slow. But by the second episode, she got it. She got the rhythm a little bit more.
Yeah.
Oh, super funny. So definitely check that out. I think it's Thursday nights that the show's going to be on. I don't know, but it's on NBC. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yep.
Also, another show that I just started watching on Netflix that I'm behind on, I understand, but I just got around to watching it, is Atypical. It's Jennifer Jason Leigh and Bill Rappaport, and it's about their son having autism and how the family deals with it, how he deals with it himself, and the therapy around it and all of that. I've really enjoyed the show. So again, I wanted to point it, I'm only in the beginning of the second season, but I thought I'd bring it up again if you're looking for something to watch. It's been really interesting. And I usually really love Jennifer Jason Leigh, but I think it's her character annoys the crap out of me. But it's very interesting also to see how her character is in this family unit and stuff. So it's really interesting. I'm really enjoying it, and I will talk more about it when I finish everything that's available to view.
Okay.
So that's kind of it. I just wanted to touch on some things so that if you're bored and you wanted some recommendations, there you have it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to the Actors Corner then and talk about Hugh Jackman.
All right.
Okay.
I know you'll enjoy it.
Okay, so...
Movie or TV series I love?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it down to 3.
Okay.
The Greatest Showman.
Yep.
Real Steel.
Okay.
And Les Miserables.
Okay. So the only one I matched on that is Greatest Showman, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And will always be. Wish Jeremy Jordan was in the Zac Efron part, but we won't.
Yeah, so we took a drive the other night. It was about 35 minutes. And you put your,
From now on, I put From Now On.
Well, you put From Now On like 3 different versions or something. So it ended up being, I heard From Now On like half the trip.
That's just the best song.
I understand.
Best song.
Yeah. Yep.
That was all you were going to say about it?
Yeah.
Was that you heard it? Oh. Yeah, it's just a great movie and great soundtrack. And
yeah, that wasn't like breaking news or anything. It was just by the way.
I was just thinking the other day, too. I bought tickets to Hugh Jackman in The Music Man a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And so now it had been postponed, I think, until this past November. And then, of course, I think it was supposed to open last January. I don't even remember now, actually, all the dates. But I had bought the tickets a year before they were going to open. And then they pushed it back. And now I think they're going to open in June, or my tickets are for June. I don't know. I got to look and see. But he is going to be in The Music Man with Sutton Foster, which is just my...
That's your dream duo.
She's my... favorite.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know why I pointed that out.
Mix Kate Blanchett in there somewhere, and you gotta you can die happy.
I'd be passed out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had what else? Real Steel. I have Real Steel under Secretly Love.
Okay.
It's such a stupid concept, but I love the crap out of that movie.
Yeah, he's so good in it.
And the boy's so good, and I bawl my butt off every time too.
Yeah.
And I feel stupid for doing it because I'm watching these CGI machines.
Well, yeah, not a lot outside Star Wars and like movies from the 80s, Gremlins and that sort of thing, make you feel for CGI or not real, basically inanimate objects. But the robot in this, his fighting robot is Adam is a character.
He has personality, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a great story again of him and the son, and but it's good. It's just good. You can't deny it. And what was your other? Les Mis.
Yeah.
Les Mis didn't even make my list.
Les Mis. I thought it was Les Miserables, and it turns out it was more miserable.
And what do you like about that one?
I don't know.
Okay.
Actually, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the first one I had seen. I had never seen any of the other more original Les Mises that you have, right? You've seen several versions of it. And this was the first one I've seen.
Okay. I thought we saw it on stage before the movie came out, but maybe not. Maybe it was after.
I don't know. I've seen it on stage?
Yep.
Oh, dear. Well, sorry.
Okay, we'll move on. So for me, I had The Greatest Showman, Someone Like You. When that came out with him and Ashley Judd, that was I think it was the second thing I'd ever seen him in. I didn't really know a lot about him, and he's just, drop dead handsome in this one. And I love the movie, rom-com, all of the things. So love Someone Like You.
I learned something about Hugh Jackman today that I didn't realize.
Okay.
He and I are the same age. Okay, that's not nice.
Yes. So you, Jason Statham, and Hugh Jackman standing in a line.
Yep. Just to make me feel worse, now Hugh Jackman's the same age.
And then my third one that I love is The Prestige. Christopher Nolan, storytelling, it's such a great, great movie. I love it and can never not watch it if it's on.
Didn't make my list. I know.
Have you seen it?
Yes. You and I watched it. I remember watching that with you.
Really?
You made me watch it, yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So you didn't get it?
No, I got it. I just...
Okay, movies you like.
Kate and Leopold.
I have that on my list, too.
Van Helsing.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's him, Monster Hunter, basically. Yeah. And Swordfish.
Okay.
Yeah, which isn't your type of movie, so I
didn't mind it, but I haven't felt the need to watch it over and over again.
I think I liked it as much for the music as I did for the actual movie.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of good, upbeat electronica in it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I have Kate and Leopold on mine too. Again, Meg Ryan and a rom-com. Hello. Can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
My other under like is basically Wolverine. So all the X-Men, and all the Wolverine movies. Logan probably being my favorite. I know you haven't seen any of them. It's okay.
Well, okay. It's gonna be a little controversial in a minute, but go ahead.
Haven't seen any of them.
I know.
And you would like them if you did. But Logan's probably my favorite, and then Days of Future Past and the X-Men is probably my other favorite. Anyway, so that's on all in my like.
Okay.
Movies you hate.
Well, remember we changed this a while ago to movies we hate / don't like or aren't interested in, and I have X-Men in there.
You had told me at one point you would be willing to watch them.
I would be willing to watch them, but I have no interest in. I'll never say, "Hey, let's watch X-Men."
Okay.
If you said, "Let's watch X-Men," I would do it.
Okay.
Because I support you, and I love you dearly. But I have no interest in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any others?
No, that's it.
So my first one was Bad Education. It was that HBO movie about the whole Long Island scandal on the school board. I just didn't like that movie. It wasn't his fault. But partly his fault was the TV show Viva Laughlin. He produced it, and it was a musical television show. And the problem with it, among many things, was one, it was set in Laughlin. And two, the characters sang over the track. So like they would play the real track that we all know, and then the characters would sing over that, which was annoying. And he was on it. Like he was on the pilot episode and he sang, and then, and I didn't really love the lead guy in it. It was just a bad idea all the way around.
Laughlin, Nevada?
Yes.
Musical.
Yes. Hugh Jackman. Yeah.
Okay.
You see, what do you secretly love?
Someone Like You.
It's not a secret.
Well, it is to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
it could have been in my like.
The whole, him and Ashley Judd, it was good. Yes. It was just good.
Yep.
So, mine, I had Real Steel Here. That Did I say it? Because I'm not repeating it. That was hard to say. And Prisoners, which I know you have not seen. Him and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a killer. It is so good. If you have not seen it, I highly, highly recommend it. It is such a great story. You really can't. You don't know what's going on. Just really good. Really intense.
What was that under?
Prisoners?
No.
Oh, Secretly Love.
Secretly Love. Okay.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one to secretly love.
Because it's one of those, it's a heavy, intense thing. So it's just kind of like you don't walk around talking about it all the time. But I don't walk around talking about...
You're walking the earth talking about Prisoners.
Okay, embarrassed you haven't seen.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
And Logan.
Okay. Even though you're not interested in it at all, you're embarrassed you haven't seen it.
I'm not interested in the X-Men.
It's the same.
No, it's not. Isn't Wolverine just Wolverine? Or is that all the other weird...
He's Wolverine in X-Men. So when you watch the movies, it's just like the MCU. There's X-Men, X-Men 2, and then Wolverine is in there. Then you go to another X-Men.
I understand.
It's all part of the story.
I know that. Wolverine is going to be mostly on Hugh Jackman and not everybody else.
But you have to see everything else in order to understand it.
You don't.
Yes, you do.
Maybe to understand the overall arc.
Yes.
But just that movie?
Yes.
I should be able to just see it and enjoy it.
Nope. That's like coming in and just seeing the Spider-Man movies and none of the others. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you may not have an appreciation for the overall arc, but you're going to understand, you're going to enjoy that movie just stand alone.
You won't get it.
And if you don't, I think that takes away from the movie myself. You have to be able to see a movie, any of these single movies, and enjoy it. And yes, it's the next one in an ongoing saga. That may be true, and you see more of the story, but I'm not the purist that you are.
So the movie that I'm embarrassed I haven't seen is Australia. Not enough to watch it, but it's one of those that was supposed to be so, grandiose and epic and blah, blah, blah. I had no desire to see it. I have no desire to go to Australia.
Well, I think that's well documented.
Yeah, I do. I actually do. I would love to see Sydney, but not spiders.
Yeah, if you could probably go from the plane to a car to the air to the hotel.
Yeah,
yeah, and
make sure there's no wildlife around,
because there's probably not a lot of those man-eating spiders in downtown
in Sydney, right?
So yeah, you'd probably be okay.
It's
with
just a long way to go to not see everything else,
Yeah,
but. Anyway,
probably gets dicey on the outskirts, though.
Anything you want to add to your watch list?
I actually put Chappie.
Huh. Yeah. At the time, I wanted to see that. Not anymore. I don't have anything for my watch list, but my honorable mentions, I did have Swordfish. Scoop was a Woody Allen movie, which I know. But I really liked the movie. Him and Scarlett Johansson. It was good. Happy Feet.
Yeah.
The second one I think I like a little bit better, but I really loved that. And then of course I had Les Mis as well. Yeah. So that's Hugh Jackman. Hopefully, maybe I'll see him this summer, but probably not the way we're going. So may have to sell those tickets. If anyone wants some Music Man tickets, we will see.
Yeah, I mean, I would just hang on to them, and I dare say you'll see him at some point.
Yeah, but I can't just pick and choose. They're for specific dates in June. So if I can't go in June,
if it's open,
I think. Well, yeah.
What I'm saying is just hang on to them until they verify and confirm it will be open, and then deal with it.
Okay. So that's it for this week.
Okay.
Yeah, not bad. 45 minutes or so.
Gosh, we're sorry.
Lots coming out over the next 2 weeks, though. So next time will be bigger.
Okay.
And we are in the midst of packing. We're moving in a month.
Yes,
Less than a month. So we'll still be in Southern California, but we are moving. So fun times for us.
Moving closer to Disneyland.
Yeah. Because we're adults.
Okay.
All right, you guys. I hope you have a great couple weeks. The Happy New Year thing,
Well, we still wish you a Happy New Year. Don't. misunderstand
Happy
what she's
New
saying
Year.
there.
It's just already gone to pot, so, you know.
What was that? Somebody posted a tweet.
Cancel subscription.
Yeah.
I tried the 7-day trial.
The 7-day trial.
I don't like it.
2021, I want to cancel the subscription.
Yeah.
So far, a little off to a rocky start, but
good luck out there, everybody.
Yeah.
And stay safe, wear a mask. And, yeah.
Yeah.
Until then, I'll be watching my stories.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, bye.